Hello, world. I am Ryan, aka Crownson's Corner, aka Healing Chef, all that kind of stuff. This is a Healing Chef's podcast. Healing Chef's podcast is all about that word chef, right? Chef comes from the root word chief. Means leader. I believe anybody that's on here is a leader in their own business, life, all that kind of stuff. So today's guest is it Ian?
Ian, what's up, man?
Ian from Aeriz, media director. Thank you very much for coming out,
Thanks for having me.
coming out on the internet or whatever the hell. I need to smoke some weed. We brought.
Hey, is this a podcast where we smoke together?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Light
Right.
up with you when you are.
We are not. We tried. No, I brought the Puffco and it's not charged.
Oh, that's
But
rough, man.
we're working on it. We got a backup. We got a backup, folks. We got
Okay.
a backup.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is way cooler than mine. So backup's better. We'll get that going here in a second. Should I just go ahead? No.
I didn't put anything in there yet.
Oh.
So.
I'm gonna wait for you.
Yeah, you're good. I'm sitting here turning stuff on, dry hitting. All right. So first off, before we get into the different segments and stuff, if you could educate the watchers, listeners on exactly who you are and what is it that you do for Aeriz.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the media director at Aeriz. So I'm one of the team leads in the marketing department. I've been with the company for almost 8 years now, in the middle of the 7th year. So I've been doing it since the company started as medical only in Illinois, right after medical became legalized in Illinois. And then I've been doing it ever since. We expanded into Arizona, as you know. And so I am, one of the marketers kind of responsible for overseeing our different brands. Obviously, you know, Rise, our flagship brand. And then we also have Days Off, which we just launched last year, both in Illinois and Arizona. And then we also have Up North, which is a California company out of Humboldt, legacy growers, craft growers that we acquired a few years ago. And we've brought their amazing genetics to
that blue face,
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically I'm, oversee video, photo, advertising, copywriting, kind of all the marketing side of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast. It's been a little bit of a, trying to catch each other at the right times, but we did it. So
glad to be here.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, which is cannabis journey.
Okay.
And we'll play a little intro real quick. We got ice.
That really took me on a journey, man. That was great.
Oh yeah. That's one of the first things that I made, and I was so super happy when I made that. I'm like, I know digital editing now.
Oh yeah, brother.
It's okay. We can do better in the future, but thank you very much. So cannabis journey is all about like how you found cannabis yourself. And then we'll kind of dive into a little bit more about Aeriz.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So just like how I started smoking,
like for myself, I always tell people I started with good old brick, with all the seeds and everything, big trays, had to lean them up so the seeds and shit would slide down, because otherwise I'm sitting there all day. Or you get the person who didn't pay anything to pick all that shit out. That's how we did it back then.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, okay. You're going. Let me get rolling here as I get into my cannabis journey.
Sorry. So this is what am I smoking?
That's the honey bananas.
This shit's so far.
What is it again?
Honey bananas.
Nice. Love that. I'm smoking a little Skywalker OG.
Oh shit.
It's a strain we just added to the rotation.
Oh yeah, because that Mazar and everything, and I like blueberry and yeah, Skywalker. Yep.
Hell yeah. Yeah, okay, so cannabis journey. So the first time I smoked weed was when I was 15. So when I was 15, I had been a pretty good kid up until then, and then I started, running with a more artistic crowd that opened my eyes a little bit because I had, gotten into art in high school and stuff. And so we would smoke a lot of hookah. That was a cool thing to do in the west suburbs of Chicago when I was 15.
Real quick, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, really?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
You were in those same scenes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my buddies one time said, "Hey guys, I got some weed. Let's mix it in with the shisha and the hookah." And that was the first time I ever smoked. I did have the classic thing happen to me where the first time I smoked, I felt nothing. And then we tried it again later that night. And I was like,
boom,
what did I just do? Never do this again. You're never going to be yourself again.
Oh shit. Then, no, mine was different.
I was zooted out of my fucking mind. And then the next day I was like, shit, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts, so then, eventually, got the connect of that dude. And yeah, it wasn't as bad as yours, like the seedy bricks, but definitely like dirt swag bud that, you'd smoke a half ounce of to get high for a while, but throughout high school, I basically just like kind of learned more and more about just like cannabis culture, and I met better dealers and I found better bud. And then once I went to art school for college, game over. I met, way more people that, connected me to better people,
better weed and better
growing good shit. And I've been I've been a fucking heavy smoker. Started smoking every day in college, and the only time I've stopped since has been when I flew out of the country, and it was a forced break in Switzerland.
Yeah, what was that for?
Oh, so I used to, before I was full time with Aeriz, I used to also I've been like a video producer, photographer, all that kind of stuff since I was out of college. I had a small agency with a buddy, and that's how we got into Aeriz. But
we have
prior to that, I had
on the link too.
Sorry,
we have Jake Ritter. Looks like on a link too.
Oh
well, hello,
Jake. Come on in.
I wasn't sure what was going on, so I'm sorry.
Hey, glad to. I'm just. We're in the middle of the first segment, which is cannabis journey. So I'm just talking about how I got into cannabis.
I was eavesdropping a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't want to interrupt.
Jake's probably heard me tell this story before. Just like I've probably
heard me tell every story before. It's all I do is tell the same shit. We're good.
But yeah. So what? About, like I said, 7-8 years ago, a friend of a friend approached our little agency that we had. They were looking, hey, we're starting a cannabis company, and we need branding, marketing, all that stuff. And we started with Aeriz back then when it was just medical in Illinois, and I went full time a few years ago as we've grown, and this is my fucking dream job, and I smoke fucking weed every day and make art about it. So
that's lovely. I love that shit because that's really all I'm trying to do. Smoke a bunch of weed and fucking a lot of psychedelics. I like those shits too.
Oh hell yeah! Well, no doubt. I'm on that microdose shit. Sometimes you need.
I was on macrodose this weekend. We were getting a little bit aggressive and aggro and shit, and we needed to like reel that shit in. So we burned it off, and man, we'll talk about that soon enough. But that shit was wild this week. But dope. So, Jake, do you want to jump on real quick and your background, like how you found cannabis, and then we'll jump into more of the Aeriz itself.
Sure. Try to keep it slim. So for me, it started in say the mid to late '90s. You know, I moved to Arizona when I was around 15, and I fell in love with it. You know, I had a bunch of friends went to a party, and somebody loaded me up a bowl, sparked it, and have been in love with it since. So throughout the course of time, you know, I realized I started selling it, the old brick weed that you were talking about at 16, was buying bricks, pounds of bricks, taking out the seed stems. And then we thought we were cool back then because, you know, we put them in Everclear and let them sit and extract. And it's like
Bro, I was just thinking about someone who used to do that.
That was me. That was me in the late 90s. So yeah, you know, I kind of was the guy for my high school, right? So if you needed weed, I was selling all that brick shit, and then Croptober came around and Christmas buds.
Christmas buds. Thank you. I don't feel
back in the day.
That's a kind bud to somebody. They said, "What does that mean?"
Oh, that endo. You gotta get that endo.
Endo. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, through the course of time, you know, always kind of ended up going to college, professional career, always kind of sold it in the background. And it was kind of my secret, you know, hidden life that only a couple people of my coworkers would know about. And then I was working for US Foods, running like 600 restaurants and 12 reps about 6 years ago. And you want to talk about a miserable job, try the food industry.
I'm a chef. I used to be chef for all the concerts here in the Valley in Vegas. I did the Mayweather McGregor fight. Let me tell you about stress with celebrities.
Right. And then if you get something
and in restaurants too, fuck it. That's why I'm in cannabis now.
Yeah. You get something you order that doesn't show up on that time, guess who you were calling me.
Yeah, for sure I was. Yeah, for sure. Roasting you.
So, but yeah, I got an opportunity to start with another company about 6 years ago here in Arizona. One of the, you know, the larger companies, more of a greenhouse. So preparation kind of met opportunity at that point, and took the jump. And you know, now I came to Aeriz about a year ago, and you know, now I can smoke my own flower due to the quality and the purity of the
satire. Yeah. No, dope. So, I appreciate it. And yeah, that sounds a little similar to like some of the shit that I went through. Like as soon as I smoked weed, I was like, yeah, no, we're doing this forever. I don't know really what else we're doing in life, but this shit right here, we're doing this. And I damn sure didn't feel that with alcohol or anything else that I've ever done. So we've been rocking that ever since. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys sharing your personal journeys. Could you, however you guys want to tackle this, and just to be clear, Jake, you are the Arizona Aeriz Days Off rep, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. He's
the Arizona sales director. You know,
sales director. I was just saying rep as not like brand ambassador.
I just, you know, Jake's a very humble guy.
You're the brand ambassador, right, bud?
Very humble guy. He's a man of the people. He's not going to toot his own horn, but since we're both on here, you know, he's, you know, I just want to make sure he gets his flowers, you know.
We're just all one big happy family, and just all about spreading the goodness to the masses.
Absolutely. I love that. And so with that, Aeriz. Not a lot of people know exactly how to even say the name of your brand.
That's a big challenge for us. Absolutely.
But I've known you guys for a while. I've been a bud tender for a while and stuff. And this, if you guys don't know, is a pound bag.
That takes me the fuck back, man. I haven't seen that shit in forever.
Right. So this is actually, you know, I don't know about, but this is actually Wi-Fi OG 43 sugar. This was a bunch of concentrate.
Damn.
Actually, check that shit out. But I've been around a while. I got weird shit. It's like random
Bro,
stuff.
you are blowing my fucking mind, dude. This is shit that we don't even like have one old copy of at the office or something. Like that's awesome.
Thank you very much, everybody. I have collected so much shit. It doesn't like I have stuff that other people don't have. Way to go, Ryan. Sorry, get a little high. But no, I'm like I love this stuff, and I one day want to like when I buy my house, right? I want to make a room that's I want to call it the prohibition room. Want to have a bunch of stuff. I have other pound bags and stuff, and I want to like put that stuff up because you go into like these breweries and stuff like that, and they have like hops bags like up and everything. Like, why can't I do that with this? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got all this shit. It's not nothing other than that. I just enjoy weed a lot.
Think about that old school Coca-Cola merchandise, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Someday Aeriz will be there, and you'll have this.
I think about that all the time. You know, all of us we're like at the very beginning. It's funny you say
you guys
the
want these
prohibition.
are for sale. No.
Wait a couple years. We've a couple times we've seen like our merch, like our t-shirts up on like Grailed and shit. And that was like, you know, the biggest compliment our designers ever got, you know.
Oh yeah. No, I don't plan on selling any of this stuff. This is for me. But yeah, if you could educate the people because Aeriz is like aeroponics and you know futuristic NASA. I don't know.
Hey, I appreciate the NASA reference because that's something not a lot of people know. But yeah, that aeroponics was developed by NASA to fucking grow food in space, and like that's why the technology exists. And yeah, I mean, from the beginning, like aeroponics has always kind of been core to our mission because we believe it's the best way to grow consistent, pure, the cleanest flower possible. But we also, like, one of the other main pillars of our whole organization is trying to work towards sustainability. And, you know, especially in Arizona, but obviously all over the country and all over the world, you know, like water conservation and lack of waste is super important and something that all companies should be committing to. So aeroponics is absolutely like our magic bullet. It's the most important thing about what we do because it not only allows for that super fucking high quality bud, but it also allows us to minimize the waste and recycle a lot of the components of what we're using to cultivate. So anything else to add, Jake, in terms of like Arizona specific? I mean,
no, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think, you know, as far as aeroponics is concerned, it's definitely a more expensive way to grow as far as the startup cost, but you know, the consistency with the purity is what we get time over time. So, you know, we've got these cuts that test, you know, the same percentage with the same terpene profile time after time. We have very little variance. And I mean, in fact, I think in Illinois, until we get the California facility, I think Illinois is the largest aeroponic farm of any agricultural in the entire world.
Wow.
So we hold that medal close and dear to our heart. But yeah, I mean, with the sustainability piece, especially here in Arizona, I know, Chef, you're here in Arizona too. So we're all focused on water conservation. And, you know, we are allowed to use about 80 to 90% less water than any other grow technique due to the recyclability of, you know, the system we do use. So
yeah, you don't have the media getting in the way. You kind of, I can understand that. Yeah, you don't have to like re-clean it or
we kind of call it the Wagyu beef of cannabis, right? That flower doesn't really need to do anything to get everything it needs. You know, those roots don't have to search. It just they just have to sit there and absorb and then put all the power up into the flower itself. So
dope. And with that, one thing with cannabis out here in Arizona for sure that I know of, because I can't really speak on any other state as right now because I haven't visited them with their cannabis and been around in long enough time to comment. But one of the things that hurts people around here is like the drying curing process. With that, I know not myself, but other people that have been in grows, not your guys's, but they get some of the flower that's a bit more fresh, especially those that own companies that are smaller. Come in and try to and actually get some of their stuff for like especially their families and stuff that need it and so on and so forth, and it's fresher and stuff. How do we get to a point where the flower is more fresh? Because I know your guys' weed is amazing, but if we like could get a little bit more moisture content, and not just yours, but everybody in Arizona. Because by the time like it sits on shelves and stuff like that, Arizona kills a lot of flower. That's
Super
why a
dry
lot of us
state.
have.
It's a
Well,
super dry
it's
state.
super dry state. So I wonder, in time with your guys' technologies and smart stuff, if we could find a better way to actually dry and cure to get it out faster and stuff to people instead of having to wait so much time for it to. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't rush quality though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
not
that's
trying
a
to rush.
valid question for Arizona for sure.
Yeah. No idea. Okay. They just.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Jake.
I think it's a
Trying
multitude
to, like,
of
ask
things.
questions that no one's asking because we're all like, we all know that the fresher weed's better. Is it that you guys have to have it to a certain moisture point? Or I mean,
So here in Arizona, we try to control it as obviously much as possible, right? We keep the room temperature controlled, humidity. We're checking with moisture content readers, and we always like to package somewhere around that 12% moisture content, which gives you that nice stickiness bud. The problem, I think, to your point that we have here in Arizona is we can always control when we package it. What we can't control is the sell through in the store.
for sure.
And I think what you're seeing here in
That's what
California, even with, a lot of these killer brands, including us, that, always used to sell without a deal, Alien Labs, Grow Sciences, Aeriz, those top shelf premium brands are now sitting longer because, we've seen an increase here in Arizona, about 150 brands within the past year and a half.
Yeah, it's oversaturated for sure.
Yeah, and so now your consumer has so many more choices. And as a connoisseur, if I wasn't in the industry, it'd be a kid in a candy store. I want to go try that brand. I want to try this brand. I want to try this brand.
Right.
And so I think the issue is a little bit compounding. And number one, we have to make sure that the quality is, at the best it can be when it goes in the jar. And we have a full rigorous QA check that goes through on trichome maturity, even your pistils, whether your pistils are upright or laying down on that flower, to make sure that it hits all these quality checks before it actually hits in the jar.
Yeah.
And secondary, we need to make sure that we're working with the accounts to say, hey, if this is at least 2 months to getting up to 3 months age, I need to help to promo that out to work it quick.
And to be clear to everybody, I've never had a problem with Aeriz or any of the brands that you said. I'm just trying to speak on a whole as Arizona. And I know that you're right, and I was kind of waiting for that. It's really the dispensaries. I wish the dispensaries, if you're listening to us right now, or please send this to a dispensary, please. If you could make it a little bit more clear and about your when you get stuff in and how long it's been there and harvest stuff, or have it accessible, easily more accessible for the consumer to find this stuff, because it is kind of frustrating when you go and maybe like you're not getting a rise or something that is going to be the best. You're getting something that's a little bit lower on the tier and whatnot, because you only have so much money nowadays, and you go to check it and you get something that's like 4 or 5 months old. You get home and it's actually hurting your smoking instead of helping you fully. So I just hope the dispensaries maybe listen to that. Like, let's just make it a little bit easier for the consumer, please, to know what we're buying. I mean, we get to look at all the you pick up milk, right? You get to look at the expiration date. But I mean, that also is a slippery slope for businesses. So I don't know. There's no perfect answer, but I appreciate you guys answering that, because that was a tough question that I had for you. But I appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the next segment, which is trip tales, psychedelics, edibles, stuff like that. All right, so let's get into easier questions. Trip Tales is all about psychedelic experiences, or stories or lessons or anything, and even edibles. If people don't understand it, especially in higher dosages. Ryan talking take 2. Dosages are you're riding the same rails as psychedelics. Do you guys have any experiences yourself, or that you would like to share? Can you share?
I mean, I think shrooms is more acceptable now than it ever has been.
For sure.
I've definitely had my fair share. To ego deaths, bad trips, out of body experiences. Now, with my age, I'm more focused on microdosing. But there was a point in time where, I think I've eaten a whole eighth, gone camping, seen whales in small, shallow pools, and I've been floating out of my body until my friend opens a Coke can that sucks you back in. But yeah, I mean, I think right now
that's dope.
What's it?
No, I was tripping on that idea, Doc. But go ahead.
No, there was one time where we were camping and, staring through tree leaves. I was being lifted up and thought I was the closest to whatever, if there was a heaven, whatever you think that would be. And then my buddy opened up a soda can and literally sucked me back into my body. And I kind of looked at him and pissed off and be like, why the fuck did you do that? And he's just looking at me like, what? I didn't do anything.
I was hanging out with God, yo. What the fuck?
Right.
Wanted caffeine. Now myself, over, like I said, over the something that I wanted to kind of go over is, with our communication with trying to set up the podcast and everything. And then I had some other stuff going on in the week, and I was just getting so stressed out and everything. And so I decided, I'm like, okay, we got to wash this ego. We're getting cranky and all sorts of shit. So this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, I did some pretty deep inner work. I ate some shrooms. I believe this strain allegedly was blue meanies that I got from one of the guests here, and it was some really good stuff. So I learned I've been super reactive in most of things that I've done when I get to that point, and I needed to reel it back in because I wanted to talk to you guys, but the angry PTSD veteran was starting to show a little bit more, and I wanted to be like, why are you guys not answering or stuff like that, and these things that, because I couldn't control the situation at the time. But I was like, bro, you're not the main character. like everyone is the main character in their own story. These people have stuff going on. They'll get back to you, and you guys did, and everything else. So I'm glad that I can find that nowadays, especially we're getting more and more used to psychedelics and everything, to where it sets you back and you realize all this shit that you were just getting mad about really doesn't make any sense to get mad about. And it ends up working itself out eventually if you just look for the right answers and quit being so reactive. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm glad that we could work that out. Now, do you guys know anything? I myself got turned around, especially, and I'm looking forward to it. Do you guys know much about ketamine?
Have not dipped my toes into those waters. Yeah, a lot of shroom experience, but have not tried.
Yeah. What
not tried
for shrooms? So I myself, shrooms for me are strictly therapeutic.
Mhm.
I don't take those at all for having fun or anything like that.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't know about you guys. When I start to come up, I'm getting kind of like that. I don't know, kind of almost uncomfortable, and it's
Sure.
not a good thing to do in public. Acid, well, I'll go wherever you want to go. We'll play Mario outside and play do. But no, the shrooms for sure. But
No, and I think I would, it's almost I would almost liken it in some ways to cannabis, where I think, as you say, you only use it therapeutically, and I think that it can be really useful for both, and it can also be fun. Like for me, when I discovered shrooms it was in college. You once you're an experienced stoner, then you do sometimes oh, what else is out there? I've conquered this, so let me see what else is going on. I don't want to say conquered. I guess that was poor diction. But you guys feel me.
We're all stoners and shit, dog. You conquered that shit. I don't give a
Yeah.
like. If they don't like it, they can change the
Well,
channel.
it's nature. It's a gift of nature. I don't believe that, we can ultimately conquer nature, but
No, you can't conquer shrooms. They'll put you in the dirt.
no. Well, and so that's the thing, in my 20s, I definitely would use shrooms to have fun, I
Right.
definitely had experiences similar to Jake's, weekend with the guys or whatever, and we all took an eighth or more, and we all, or some of us saw God. I also I was in my buddy's parents' house one weekend, and I saw a demon in the mirror that started showing up in all the mirrors, and I couldn't look at any mirrors for about 6 hours. But those are my experiences have been good. But now, now I'm, in my 30s, and I'm married and I have a busy job, and so I only use shrooms therapeutically as well.
Right.
And not so much, although, if I needed to, similar to you, like for that full like soul cleansing, but like I was mentioning earlier, I like microdosing, but for a very similar reason to what you were talking about, where it does remove a little bit of that ego, and like, especially if you're about to have a really stressful day, you're going to have to make a stressful decision, whatever, like it just kind of starts your day in that way where you're like, you know what, like this is not important. Like in the scale of the universe, like nothing that's happening here is important. And everybody's just trying to get through their day. And like, sometimes you got to just start the day that way. And so like,
you said what I was trying to say better than what I said.
Well, listen, I'm just waiting for the day when we get the call that we need to start marketing a shroom product, So,
let me know, because I've been in the kitchen. I've been in the kitchen. I have products that people haven't even thought of yet.
I hope we get to that point. I think we're going to get to that point. I mean,
it's coming.
It's happening. So
yeah, it's coming. But that's another slippery slope in itself. But no, thank you for that. No, like ketamine and all this stuff like that. I was just bringing that up because I've just been seeing it in the valley out here in Arizona, like a bunch of different clinics popping up here and there and stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's what really turned my life around. But yeah, that's good. That's good.
I've done ketamine treatments, and I do think it's a whole separate, for me at least, it's a whole separate release than psilocybin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think
1,000%.
I mean, I think with ketamine, it feels like more negative energy you get out of your body, right? It's more positivity. I think that's kind of been my experience. I leave a ketamine treatment. I think, and especially in this world, in this life, and in our jobs, we absorb a lot of negative out there. It's just constant anymore. And I've noticed when I've done ketamine therapies, it really does make a change, and it's helped me a ton too. Really releasing all those negative vibrations. And
damn, no, you're selling me on it, Jake. I gotta go.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing.
You walk out of there a whole different person, and the way they do it, especially in that setting, so you're not locked, you're not doing it on your own. You get in the K-hole. It's like 45 minutes, and you kind of come out a little iffy, but then you're right back being normal. It's been amazing, and I
had someone sitting there to talk to, kind of like trip sitting me and stuff like that. Maybe a little therapy as I was like trying to work through shit too. So. That's yeah. I think awesome. That's awesome that someone else on here that actually had that treatment, because it's completely different. It's a complete release of all that bullshit. Like I don't even know how to explain it to you. Like even right now, like we're still holding like a little bit of anger or stress on this thing or that thing or this thing. This removes all of the future and past tripping, and you are literally in the now, and that's all that matters. As much as that sounds cheesy or crazy, like try it.
No, it's weird. It's like if you were to say this weight was lifted off my shoulders, like that's really what you come out of there feeling like holy shit,
like what the fuck was I carrying that around for?
All right. I'm gonna have to. I know there are a couple clinics in Chicago, so
yeah, I mean, I strongly suggest it to anybody. The only thing I don't suggest it to, if you're already kind of like a person with the personality that's in the background, maybe it's not for you. because it'll push you back a little bit further.
I hear you.
But then again, I'm not that person, and I'm not a doctor, so I just play one on TV.
None of us on here are doctors, just to get that out. I'm also not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, everybody, and you can't get meds from me. Just kidding. Don't look at the wink. Hey guys, do you guys like that? Sorry, just trying to the powers that be. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into this little bit of a break, and then we'll come back with mental health as well.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Iesha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
And we're back. And mental health as well. We.
Oh, are we? Wait. Are you smoking again? Now I gotta join you. Little product placement coming from Arizona,
Coming soon.
Mental health as well.
I know I have gas, otherwise I would be smoking.
Sorry, everybody. All the burn pits in Iraq ruined my lungs. Yay. That was fire. Flapjacks, honey bananas. I feel like I'm at IHOP. All right. So mental health is wealth. So it's all about how all this stuff relates to us and how we're dealing with this stuff, because I'm a veteran with PTSD. I had a mental breakdown about a year ago, and I can't breathe. And I checked myself into the VA because I was having a lot of problems. And I'm trying to make it okay to talk about things like that, because people are so afraid to actually go get the help because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be, made fun of, to be thought of as lesser or any of that kind of stuff, especially being a military guy. That's something that we definitely had going on in the military. If you ever went to sick call, any of that kind of stuff, therapy, you're weak, there's something wrong with you, and you should be shunned and made fun of. I've worked through that, and I've worked through all the other stuff. So, and again, this is the healing chefs. So constantly healing, never fully healed. But yeah, I've been through quite a bit. Do you guys want to share anything that maybe like I myself have shared in the past, like some of the coping mechanisms that I use, like when I get really stressed out, I clean, or I start doing math on something, because I can control those things. And then once you have just one idea or task at hand, it kind of takes your mind off of the rest of the stuff, and or you can start dealing with the other stuff because you're starting to knock out other stuff. For myself, do you guys have anything to share with that?
Yeah, well, I can start.
Okay.
So, I mean, thank you for sharing that, and thank you first and foremost for your service. That's greatly appreciated. And I've never been in the service. I have family, and to understand what you've went through and what other people have went through fighting for our country, we will never understand that full extent. So I just want to extend my thanks first and foremost with that. As an individual myself, I've struggled with some mental health issues as well, to the point to where trying to figure my own shit out, that expensive piece of paper you see up there is a degree in psychology. So I did go to school for psychology and obviously went to some ketamine treatments. And, I think it's definitely helped me in my life, not only talking to people, but talking to other people like yourself that have those same experiences and issues. And I think right now in this world, we're all just trying to get through it day to day.
Yeah, body doesn't differentiate between traumas. It's not like people tell me, well, I haven't been through anything like you. I'm like, well, I haven't been through anything like you.
Yeah, and we all experience something.
Yeah.
But no, I think for me, when it gets stressful and too hesitant, for me, meditation has been a key thing for me.
Nice.
And just nature, one of my favorite things to do is just release, right? Trying to get the serotonin levels back, just going into nature, camping, smoking out in nature, and just becoming one with not only myself and with everything else out there. And then, the other side of what really I've noticed has really kind of helped me is finding empathy and understanding with others. And really listening to other people's experiences and kind of, trying to understand people, as, realizing that everybody has gone through issues and you're not alone in this world. And I think that's the biggest thing to understand is there's points and times where everybody feels like nobody gets it. I'm in my own head. And that's really, truly not the case. And just recognizing when that time comes and then having that understanding to, get the help needed and realize you're not alone out there, that everybody goes through everything.
Absolutely. And we create our own prisons in our mind.
Yep.
All the future and past tripping and all the stuff that you're stressed out about. If you just step, if you, with all the stuff that, like I just said, that you build walls, if you just open that door and step outside, that whole building will probably fall down. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think that's something that, is a common thread in kind of all the conversations we've had about cannabis, ketamine, psychedelics, shrooms. It's like all of these things. And I think, the better parts of the cultures around them, right, are about getting outside of your own head and your own journey. And like you said before, like main character syndrome. And there is something about drugs that allows your brain to see what is happening outside your brain in a way that it's hard to find other ways to get there. There are ways to get there, meditation and a lot of other things. But I think that's, for all kinds of different mental health issues, that's just when used in the right way, what can be so healing is just having that other perspective.
Healing.
And yeah, I know what podcast we're on.
Yeah, no, I love it. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, that was basically it. And yeah, just to also share my own, how cannabis and other, psychedelics have helped me mental health wise. I definitely struggled heavily with depression. In my early and mid 20s, and did get therapy about it here and there, but I found that cannabis and using it to allow myself to step outside myself and write, writing is something that always helps me to
there you go,
get my thoughts down on paper and then look at it later in a different light. And again, it's that stepping outside of it and feeling what the fuck are you so worried about this, man? When you see it, it's and what, I think all, forms of expression are that way, right? You're getting something out so that it's not for someone else. It's for you to reflect on what's going on and get that different perspective. So,
yeah. How many times can I tell you, have I written, text messages or IG messages and I'm like, and delete all of that shit. We are not sending any of that.
You just gotta get it out.
Nope, Not at all. No, not at all. Yeah, and I just want to touch. I appreciate you guys sharing a whole lot. I really, really do, because it just makes everyone more comfortable. What I really want with this whole like podcast thing is that the more different. God, I talk good well. Ryan talking take 3. Um, what I really want to do is have all these different episodes and stuff, so that maybe uh, someone can relate to at least one. You know what I mean? Um, and I didn't like when I had checked myself into the VA and all sorts of stuff. There wasn't a lot of people that looked like me, tatted up and stuff like that, talking about the issues that I'm talking about. And it just like I'm just trying to find a way to make people more comfortable, because I just wanted to feel a little bit more comfortable when I was going through my shit, still going through shit. But in Arizona, and I think as a whole for the United States, I kind of wanted to comment on one thing real quick. I appreciate everybody ever saying thank you for your service. But one of the traumas that I've endured through Arizona cannabis is people not understanding soldiers or those with PTSD, especially. Because a lot of them tell us, thank you for your service. But then when there's an issue or something and we get upset, all of a sudden everyone's scared. And that hurts because you just told us that you thank us for our service for protecting you, but immediately when there's an issue with me, you're scared of me like I'm going to hurt you. That in itself feels like getting, instead of like when they got spit on in Vietnam, that's a spit in my face. So I hope anybody listening to this, especially in the Arizona cannabis industry, you guys educate yourselves a little bit more on how to handle these things, because there's a lot of soldiers, and I talk to them a lot. There's a lot around here that this has happened to. I've gone to different places, and I'll tell you what, if I've left a job, especially in cannabis, it's not because like I did something or something. It's because you guys made me feel a certain way, that I wasn't safe or I was not being treated right. Now, there are times where I got upset at different things, but I think this as a whole, as a nation, we need to like, I wish you guys share this stuff, that we need to like reevaluate how we handle soldiers with PTSD. Like when they get upset, maybe instead of just like, hey, go to HR over it or something, maybe talk to people, maybe sit them down and see what's going on, stuff like that. I just hope that people hear some of this stuff. Sorry if I took your episode to stand on that soapbox, but
Hey, not at all.
I
think
definitely think
it's
we
an
need to
important
look.
message, and that's the point, right? So
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for letting me get on my little diatribe. But if we could go ahead and jump into more positive stuff, because it's still positive, and I really thank everybody for thanking me for my service, and we do love you guys. We do want to protect you, and we want to be around and help you guys and do whatever you need. And you make a friend in us, you have a friend for life. We're loyal and we don't fuck around. But all right, let's jump into Plug Talk, which is all about promo. All right.
Electric. It's electric.
It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Yeah. Anyway, so Plug Talk is all about promo. Obviously, Aeriz firebrand, super clean meds, always hitting very high. You guys still working with Fig Farms or Fig Farms up north?
Yep.
All that stuff. This stuff's fire. You want to go ahead and take over?
Sure. So as far as Arizona offerings, I guess this is my segment. So we do
I'll
have.
talk forever, dog. I'll talk forever.
No, you're good. You're good. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned those brands underneath our umbrella. So we do own up north out of California. One of our strategy partners out there. And that brand is really focused on kind of legacy genetics. So those old school hitters that you've always known and loved since, those late
Urban
90s,
Poison, baby.
2000.
Yeah, that was it.
My favorite strain in the world.
And that we got a Durban that hits around 3 to 4% terps in that strain. We got an NF1, which isn't really a legacy strain, but it's Northern Lights, blueberry, and Chem Dog. So it's got those three components. But they do great work. We also have got Fig Farms underneath our umbrella too. So we're bringing all their key genetics from Cali, all those award winners. That Blue Face I heard you mention earlier.
Oh yeah, when you guys first brought them out, I grabbed a bunch of that stuff.
Nice.
All the money's going to the podcast now. So,
well, yeah. So we've got Z Claire out of there. So yeah, we do their genetics here within the aeroponic system as well. And then Aeriz, it's our staple. Those heavy hitters. We got our constants
that you had.
Which one?
The Tropicana cookies. I remember way back that you guys had that Trop cookies. Like live resin cart. Those when live resin came out, that was fire.
Yeah, we're trying to. We got a chocolate and our tropical haze. We're trying right now to see if that can come up. But yeah, with the Rise, we've got our staples, the Jenny Kush, the GMO are our two biggest heavy hitters there. But we got those staple strains that we're always, trying to get the heaviest terps on. And right now with this market, it's always heavy potency. We're trying to get above 25% with a good terpene profile and a good cannabinoid profile as well. But we're always looking for those next best hitters to come into that Arise profile. And then the last mix is Days Off, which is kind of our value mix, which is our smalls that we'll put in 2 blends of an eighth into a 7-gram offering or 2 7 grams into a 14-gram offering. But what that does, it kind of helps that that consumer get a mix of up north and Arise or Arise Fig Farms or Fig Farms up north. So you'll get 2 different strains, but allows you to try 2 different strains and kind of keep your cannabinoid system fresh so you're not smoking the same thing over and over. And we actually have the 2 strains listed on the back, and we homogenize those strains together and actually have it retested. So the testing on that jar that Ian's showing you will actually...
Not going to get it to focus, but this one is a perfect example. This is on the 8th day, and that's Lucid Blue and Durban Poison. So... perfect.
Up north and Fig, yeah. So
nice.
So yeah. So and I mean, if you get something like an ice cream cake and a Jenny, you can literally pour it out and separate it out eighth and an eighth because just the color difference, and you can really tell the difference between the flower.
Nice, yeah. I even had some of the rosin lately, the Purple Milk and the Pebble Paradise.
Nice.
Yeah, Pebble
Fruity
Paradise.
Pebbles. We have to call it Pebble Paradise.
I know it's Fruity Pebbles. That's my favorite. It's my top 5 strains. If you guys seen it on the story a couple times, it's why it's in my top 5. It's the only place around. It's the only people around here that I've actually seen do Fruity Pebbles. That's not Fruity Pebbles OG or Fruity Pebble or some mix of it somehow. So thank you for that. And if you're out there and don't buy it, because I'm gonna buy it. that's my strain. Just kidding. My birthday's this year. Your birthday's every year. So the days off, Fig Farms, all that kind of stuff. You guys have anything else that you wanted to? Okay. Oh,
yeah. I mean, we're offering in Aeriz. We've got rosin, resin, for sure, which is our full spectrum hash oil, which comes in a dablicator. Which, if you didn't know, the dablicator is probably the most universal tool in cannabis. To the point you can infuse it in your pre-roll, top of your bowl. You can dab it straight on a nail, or you can just eat it because it's CO2 extracted, so it's still food grade edible. So that is whatever way you medicate, the dablicator is perfect for you. And then we have what Ian was showing you is our new infused pre-roll coming out, which is our pot rockets, which actually is infused with that full spectrum hash oil and then coated in keef. So high quality flower, all testing above 40%, and then
nice.
Has that appearance that's gonna get you lit as well.
It is. This is why I smoked it towards the end of the podcast, because I'm definitely
Yeah, that's why I
Little-
take dabs before in the
little-
beginning, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing in the middle.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have gummies here soon. In Illinois, they've got these hash drops, which are, probably the top edible in the market up there.
Nice.
So down here, we have yet to get the machine up and running, but hopefully we will have those soon.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And again, more Aeriz stuff here. We're gonna go ahead. Let's see. Let me go over real quick what we got coming up. Next up is Vinny, aka Mexican Nightmare. Crowd goes crazy. And just shout out to we don't really have sponsors, just the homies and stuff like that. Eventually, we'll be growing some of this stuff because we named a strain for them. Sin City Seeds. Shout out. Fino Rich and them. This is OG Deluxe right here. Shout out Team Skunkworks. Shout out everybody. Shout out to the street team, Stony Man Nathan and Jaden and Dank Doinkies. And then also shout out to the new head of communications and security, true to the movement, Jay. So if there's something that I can't handle, he'll handle it. And shout out HabariEntertainment.com. If you don't know and you're following on YouTube, please subscribe on IG at _healing chefs. If you're on IG or Spotify, go to YouTube, The Healing Chefs, all that kind of stuff. Go follow Aeriz at Aeriz USA on IG. Anything else? Nope. Okay. All right. So tap in, smoke up, trip out. We're out of here.